Yes, everybody, Russell and West Ham Network. Hope you're safe and well. Happy Thursday. Hump day's over. And now it's the road to London Stadium. Liverpool, 12:30 kickoff. If Everton can put two past them, what can we do? Probably not. Enough. Anyway, Hammers headlines in association with the KUMB.com boys. Check out yesterday, a couple of live shows in the evening. We had Jamie with the wrap up and then old school Hammers talking about David Moyes and the manager's perspective and what's going to happen. Who would have thunked it? We're going to be talking about that. At lunchtime today, I did the definitive guide of every manager that we've been linked with in the last sort of 6 months. There's quite a few of them. We didn't get into loads of detail, but all the information's there and you can make your own judgment. I did a big spreadsheet, which I showed at the end. So feel free to go back and check. And obviously we got some opinions from people in the chat. It was a very, very good show. But it is Hammerhead Headlines in association with the KUMB.com boys. 3 stories as per usual. And we've got one sort of match report, one transfer news, and one story about us in Europe still potentially. So let's crack on. Let's crack on and talk about our hat trick hero, Andy Irving. Obviously, we know back in the summer last year we bought Andy Irving from Austria Klankenwerk. I've definitely pronounced it wrong, but if you say it with enough conviction, people think you're saying it right. And he went back on loan to the Austrian club, and he's been having a great season so far. And it was capped off last night with a hat trick as he came as his side win against the league leaders in the Austrian Superliga, 4-3, and a hat trick, a scintillating hat trick from Mr. Andy. He's making some serious waves out in Austria, that's for sure, the 23-year-old Scottish player. And we know from a fact that he's got a return date penciled in to join West Ham up officially in terms of pre-season. But the former Hearts man is doing some good stuff over there. As I said, he's so far got 9 goals and 5 assists to his name in 27 games in Austria so far this season. And these numbers look even better now than they did 24 hours ago, because after his heroics against RB Salzburg, the Austrian Bundesliga giants and league leaders, he saw trading down 2-0 at halftime. And then Irving took the ball by the horns and won the game by himself. He scored a 22-minute hat trick that helped his side record a memorable 4-3 win. And as a result, Salzburg, the league leaders at the time of the kickoff, slipped down to 2nd place. Obviously, Andy's probably got a long way to go to become a Premier League ready player, but he's got a good left foot. He's got good technique as well. And for 23, he's got the physical attributes. He's got the energy levels needed to succeed in, the top flight. So, maybe I very much see him in terms of his engine as a Thomas Suchek type engine. It doesn't stop going. He keeps going. He keeps running. But he's got some skill in his locker. And as I said, a nice left foot as well. And, hat trick hero. All good. Looking forward to seeing Andy in the Premier League next year, potentially. Who knows? And maybe that will bear fruit in terms of it. One player apparently we're also being linked to, and we spoke about him this earlier on this week, I think it was Tuesday I did the show, is the Corinthians 19-year-old winger, Wesley. And apparently, according to reports, as we always say, West Ham have made an official bid for him of around 12.8 million pounds for the talented left winger. We know Tim was out in Brazil doing his scouting mission, of which Wesley was one player he was looking at. We know also our left wing is very much bereft of any options apart from putting a number 10 in there, so not a proper winger as such, or putting someone like Kudus out on that wing, where clearly he's more favoured in a 10 or a right wing position. So getting a pacey left winger, is definitely high on the agenda for Tim Steidten. And could it be Wesley? As I said, according to Jorge Nicola, he says that West Ham have made a 12.8 million bid for the Corinthians winger. One that has been rejected apparently by the Brazilian side. But I mean, he's quite baffled that they haven't accepted the offer, but obviously clearly they want more money for him. I mean, Wesley has a lot of potential. He is very quick. He's got, if you YouTube him, he's got very good technical ability. So far, 57 games in all competitions for Corinthians, 4 goals and 3 assists. But that doesn't really paint the picture of what he can do. So I think it's believed that West Ham will probably go in for a second bid for him. I mean, 12.8 seems a bit of a bargain for a 19-year-old in terms of what we could potentially get out of him. Maybe going back in 15. I don't know. Or maybe Corinthians have come back with a bigger offer and we're contemplating whether to go for it. Who knows? But it looks like the wheels are turning already in our what will be a very hectic summer transfer window for sure. Keep an eye on the West Ham Network for all the latest news and rumours as we get them. And lastly, how are we still 8th? How are we still 8th? Could the Euro dream still be alive? Well, the fat lady hasn't singed. I'm warming up my voice, but haven't quite sung in terms of this season just yet. And could there be a twist to the season potentially? Obviously, we got completely thumped by Palace, and that pretty much, that it looked dead. I think qualification, we know based on how everything's falling down, we know in terms of the fact it's a Man United versus Man City FA Cup final, that 6th place will be the extra European place for the FA Cup, because the chances are United and City will both qualify in the league outright already, which means the conference will drop down to 7th now. Until then, it was officially still 6th, but now it's dropped to 7th because Liverpool won the Carabao Cup, which is what the Conference League is. And obviously that means they're going to finish in the European places anyway. Probably not winning the title, hopefully, in Jurgen's last year, maybe. I think City have got it pretty much nailed on now, I reckon. Or City and Arsenal now, to be honest, whoever's going to win that. And all the teams around us had 2 games in hand. Chelsea had 3 games in hand. However, this week, just saying it quietly, but results have gone off our way a little bit. Newcastle lost to Palace, so Palace have won 3 in a row now. They beat Liverpool. Oliver Glasner hadn't won at all until beating Liverpool. Then he beat West Ham, and now he's beaten Newcastle. They beat last night. Chelsea got thumped by Arsenal. Looking at Chelsea's games, they're not. I think they got to play Forest away. I think the rest aren't gimmies. I think they got to play us. Still got to play Spurs as well. Brighton play Man City tonight, and they've got a difficult run in. And, with Liverpool effectively maybe being deflated from yesterday, having lost to Everton. In essence, probably blowing their title chances. It means that, West Ham maybe. I mean, obviously we kick off at 12:30, so maybe a victory against Liverpool potentially will put an unlikely victory. I grant that, but could put pressure. We'd be 7th. We've obviously Newcastle playing. Everyone playing that weekend. Who knows? Even if we end up with those last 4 games, 3 wins maybe potentially. You never know. When it's one of those weird twists to the season that this week's fixtures have sort of played into our favour a little bit. By the time we play Man City, they could have the title already, sewn up potentially, and potentially finishing on about 58 points could put us into Europe again, and then that opens up potential for Moyes to go in with negotiations for his contract. Who knows? But I think there's going to be a little twist in the tail towards the end of the season. Obviously, we'll find out. Could all go tits up after Liverpool game. Liverpool could thump us. Newcastle win. I think Newcastle at home to Sheffield United or something like that. They've got relatively easy game. They're 2 points ahead of us with a game in hands, but still, it's points on the board rather than game in hand. Chelsea's proved that. They're still 2 games ahead of us. Got 2 games in hand, but I think that Spurs. And obviously we've got to play him as well. So anyway, there we go. We'll keep an eye out and see what happens at the end of the season, innit? The fat lady has not quite sung just yet. Although I am tuning up. Don't forget to keep an eye on these at ourbrand.com for your latest news, reviews, and opinions. And we'll be back tomorrow in preparation for the game against Liverpool with Dave Moyes press conference for the Hammers headline section. And any update, team news, and things like that we'll bring to you as soon as we get them. Take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, keep the faith.